Ghost hunters got more than they expected when they found a dead body at an abandoned hospital. A ghost hunt turned into a real-life murder case when the members of the Mississippi Paranormal Society stumbled upon a dead body. In June 2015, the ghost hunters uncovered the body of 69-year-old Sharon Wilson hidden in the brush surrounding the Kuhn Memorial State Hospital. Excursion, an abandoned hospital that is rumored to be haunted. The Kuhn Memorial State Hospital has a history of death. It was constructed during the Civil War as a treatment facility for people with smallpox. After that, it served as a variety of hospital types until it was no longer in use and became a desolate, haunted skeleton of a building. It's always unsettling when a dead body is discovered in public, but when it's discovered by a group of ghost hunters exploring a haunted building, it's even stranger. Here's how it went down. Ghost hunters found a dead body during a session. On June 28, 2015, the Mississippi Ghost Hunters, a group of paranormal investigators, were investigating the Kuhn Memorial State Hospital when they found something possibly more harrowing than a ghost. In the middle of their investigation, the group discovered the body of 69-year-old Sharon Wilson. Wilson had been bludgeoned to death and hidden in the brush surrounding the hospital, likely because her killer didn't expect anyone to visit the abandoned building. A day after the discovery, an unrelated paranormal investigator visited the site and claimed to have found a trail of blood leading through the hospital to the grassy area where Wilson was left. Wilson was murdered by an escaped convict. On June 30, 2015, 2 days after the discovery of Wilson's body, Leland County Police pulled over 2 men who were caught driving a car owned by the woman that had been reported stolen. Neither Akeem McLeod, 20, or Raphael McLeod, 33, were immediately charged, but a week later CBS News reported that Raphael McLeod had escaped from prison and broken into Wilson's home the night before her body was discovered. Authorities believe that McLeod knew Wilson, having previously completed yard work for her, and that on the night of her death, he sexually assaulted her before beating her to death and leaving her body in the abandoned hospital. Paranormal groups flocked to the site after the body was found. After the discovery of Wilson's body by paranormal investigators at the Kuhn Hospital, the grounds became a highly trafficked spot for local ghost hunters. According to a member of the Mississippi Paranormal Society, the hospital has a lot of places inside and out that would be an ideal spot to place a body. Stories about the hospital paint it as a nexus of spooky activity, but the addition of an actual dead body certainly lends credibility to its haunted nature. The hospital is a popular ghost hunting site. Before a body had ever been discovered on the grounds of Kuhn Memorial State Hospital, it was already a popular spot for paranormal investigators. The hospital appeared on an episode of Ghost Asylum in 2014, and numerous local groups researched hauntings in the walls of the abandoned buildings. The same year that the hospital appeared on television, the Mississippi Paranormal Research Institute recorded audio of a phantom voice saying, "Want to come play with me?" Kuhn State Hospital got its start in the Civil War. Before it was a haunted hotspot, Kuhn State Hospital was known as Vicksburg City Hospital. The building was constructed in 1832 as a place to treat smallpox and later an outbreak of yellow fever. Allegedly, doctors who worked in the hospital during the outbreaks died while treating patients. The hospital went passed through the hands of the Burchett family throughout the 19th century, but over the course of the next 100 years it fell into disrepair. The hospital served multiple functions over the years. While the hospital got its start as a Civil War-era smallpox treatment facility, it transitioned into a variety of different kinds of clinics over the years. Throughout its use, the hospital was allegedly a minimum security prison before becoming a mental ward. From there, it's claimed that Kuhn became a pest house, or a clinic that housed people with infectious diseases. At one point, a wing of the hospital allegedly burned down under mysterious circumstances. Someone left their entire fortune to the hospital in the 50s. One of the stranger things that occurred at the hospital happened in 1954 when Lee Kuhn left his entire fortune, which totaled around $400,000, to the hospital. Kuhn's instructions were that a 7-person committee of 3 Jews, 2 Catholics, and 2 Protestants were to figure out how to best use the money. Once this very specific group of people had been put together, they decided to add on to the facility with a larger building in 1959, and the facility was renamed Kuhn Memorial State Hospital. The hospital officially closed in 1989. In 1989, After decades of funding issues, Kuhn Memorial State Hospital closed its doors. According to the Vicksburg Evening Post, the hospital had teetered on the verge of shutting down for years. In fact, discussions about shutting the doors for good came about every 2 years, until Governor Ray Mappas finally dealt the hospital its death blow. After closing down the building, abandoned building was torn down, despite becoming a local eyesore. After the discovery of the body, locals wanted the hospital torn down. After the discovery of Wilson's body, locals advocated for the destruction of the Kuhn Memorial Hospital. Residents of Vicksburg felt that the abandoned building was a blight on the local scenery for years, but it wasn't until the building became a crime scene that there was a renewed interest in tearing it down. In 2018, Vicksburg Mayor George Flaggs began taking bids for the demolition of the hospital. Before that can happen, workers will have to remove asbestos from the building and dig up an underground fuel tank. Kuhn Memorial Hospital shares similar tropes to other haunted hospitals. The spooky occurrences that happen in and around Kuhn Memorial Hospital aren't as outlandish as you might think. In 2014, a reporter from the Clarion Ledger went on a paranormal investigation in the abandoned building and saw what they believed to be a message written by a ghost. This kind of supernatural activity is similar to that of many haunted hospitals with similar pasts. For instance, Linda Vista Hospital in the Boyle Heights area of Los Angeles boasts a haunted room 323 where ghost hunters are warned against visiting. It's believed that the spirit of the former patient, or a manifestation of negative energy, has taken over the room and harms anyone who finds themselves inside. The discovery of Wilson's body should be a message to paranormal investigators. After the discovery of Sharon Wilson's body during a ghost hunting expedition, Ryan Bell from A&E's Paranormal State took to Facebook to turn the group's stumbling onto a crime scene into a teachable moment. He wrote that even though it was awful that a murder had been committed, that it illustrated the real-world issues that pop up for ghost hunters. He wrote, dealing with the psychological, sometimes crossing into the world of law enforcement by stumbling upon cults, occultists and murders, finding bodies, or even being harmed themselves due to hazardous environments. As we originally reported a few years ago when a North Carolina ghost hunter died after allegedly investigating a place with mold, are becoming major issues for investigators. Spirits supposedly roam the halls of the hospital. There are multiple reports of ghosts roaming the halls of the Kuhn Memorial Hospital, and the Mississippi Paranormal Research Institute has recorded instances of activity in the building. On one trip through the hospital, the group used a K2M reader to search for ghosts roaming the halls. The K2 lights up when a paranormal entity is nearby, and according to members of the group, it went off multiple times during one of their 2014 trips.